today.
Hello.
Hi.
Mark, Lori,
How you
can you
doing?
hear me?
Yep.
Welcome everyone in chat. Sean's Princess, Broken Justice, Little Bit. We're gonna wait for just Alexis, Shalama, a few more people to hop in. How are you guys doing? Mark?
We're doing great.
Good. I didn't know
Doing
if you
great.
guys knew I was talking to you guys or not.
Uh,
So
good.
we have a special guest here tonight. Well, Mark's always a special guest, but Lori is with us tonight. I'm so thankful that she's here with us. This has been her life. And I know she's always knitting and doing her thing, but I thought, you know what? I want Lori involved in this tonight. So welcome, Miss Lori Milligan.
Well, thank you so much.
Yes. So did you guys have a good day?
Yeah, it's been good. I mean, she actually got out of the house today.
Oh, you did, Lori?
Yeah, I took the Harry file in to be copied.
Oh, yes, you told me that. Yes. Well, hey, Sean's Princess, how are you? Okay, well, I'm going to get started. I just want to thank everyone for tuning in tonight as we, continue to discuss Harry Milligan's police case file. Welcome, Mark and Lori, again. We encourage everyone to just feel free to join in the chat and, write down comments, ask comments, constructive comments. Mods, make sure that you don't allow anybody to be rude or disrespectful. If they are, don't even give them, a chance. Block them. I don't want any of that on my channel. This is for Harry and Harry only. Anyways, I want you guys to ask questions because these difficult discussions that we are having, you guys can see what we're dealing with, what we're going through. So you guys can see something and say, hey, wait, this doesn't make sense. And the more eyes that are focused on Harry's story, the closer we are bringing him home. And, I will let Mark, Mark and Lori talk about everything and give a short description of Harry's 38, almost 39-year-old case for anyone that wants to know. Does anybody in here not know the case? I think everybody does. But
I've
anybody
seen most everybody in here before.
Yeah, I think they have. But we've got a lot of big things happening with Harry's case. A lot of huge
things are moving along really good right now.
Yes. It's do you want to talk about what's happening?
Well, I guess a lot of good things.
There's another echo. I'm gonna mute Mark while you talk.
Okay. I don't know. I think it's me and Lori are too close. Hold on just here. Give me a second. Let me see if I can move a little bit. And if that helps, I can always move in the other room if I can get my cord undone here. I just think we're too close together, maybe. I just don't want to lose everything. So not sure how much of my battery I've got alive. Give me just a second.
That's fine.
You can talk, Lori. Guess not.
Well, I guess I could, for my part of it, me and Mark have been married for, let's see, Mark, how long? How long has it been? We've been married for 27 years.
Yep.
27 years now, and Harry's been missing for 38 years. So as long as I've known Mark, Harry's been missing. I've never known him, never got to meet him. I just knew his parents and his family, siblings, and Mark. Basically, ever since I came into this family, they've been looking for Harry. So for me, it's kind of always been a mystery because I never knew him. I didn't know any, I've only known him from his family. And I always wish that I had met him and got to know him. But for my part in this, I've just always tried to help Mark keep looking, keep searching, keep doing what he has to do to bring his brother home. And every once in a while, he always says, "What if it was one of your sisters?" And I always tell him, I wouldn't stop. It would anger me. It would frustrate me. And I would do everything that I had to do because I couldn't live with myself without looking or trying to do something. So I understand his quest to bring Harry home and to answer the promise that he made to his dad. His dad told him to find him and bring him home, and that's what Mark's going to do. And we're not going to stop until he does.
You are such an amazing person, Lori. I'm so blessed to have gotten to know you and Mark. But you didn't get to meet Harry, did you?
No, never.
Like
he had already been missing for, me and Mark have been married 27, probably been together 30 some, but Harry had been missing for probably, I'm going to say, let's see, 32. He had probably already been missing for probably 5 or 6 years when I met Mark. And I do know how Vicky and Leonard felt about it. You never could talk about Harry without both of them crying. And it was just hard to fathom what the family has gone through and how heartbreaking it's been. So I never met him. I just knew Leonard and Vicky, and I loved them like parents. And my heart always broke for them because they wanted him found. They wanted him brought home. They wanted to know what happened to him. And they have both passed and never got to know that.
Yeah, that would be awful. That would be awful.
Yeah, but we have been blessed to know you, Allison, and everything you're doing for Harry. You're an amazing person, and we're blessed to call you family.
Well, you guys are my family.
So
Harry is part of my family too.
Sure.
I never got to know him either, but I've always said if he's anything like his brother Mark, you guys, they're amazing people. And I just know, I always think about what Harry would have been like. And I always picture him and Mark watching the football game.
Yeah.
It would have probably been ugly now.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially with him being a Chiefs fan. I can't say I kind of root for him once in a while, but not very often.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, do you guys want to tell the chat what big things are happening?
Yeah, so basically, that, like I say, there's a lot of good things happening right now. Like I say, things are really, we set out with a mission from the start. When you started helping us, Allison, and we started doing all the publicity stuff, I guess, or PR stuff to try to get Harry's story out to the world. And it just keeps getting bigger and bigger and keeps going. I know. A couple good things that are coming up. I was contacted, in fact, last night or night before Jesus, can't talk. Either last night, I think, or night before. Jacob got a hold of me from Chaos Divers, actually it was Lindsay got a hold of us. Gave us some dates in March that they're going to come back here for another 4 or 5 days. We got a lot of places that we want to take a look at as far as water searches and different things. So they've got some new equipment. They've got what's called a little buddy, I think is what they call it now. It's kind of a mobile sonar to where they don't have to use a big boat, or we don't have to drag a big airboat around or anything like that. You can basically, a couple guys carry it, put it in the water. It's all remote control. They can search bodies of water, ponds, all that good stuff. So that's one big thing. We're going to finish what we set out. That was part of the thing when they first got a hold of me and came back. They've been here twice now, searched quite a bit of water. Even though we haven't found him, in water. Like I told Jacob and Lindsay, it's still places that we know we don't have to look anymore. It definitely cleared up some rumors, cleared up some different things to where, we're just narrowing down the focus and just keep going. So that's one good thing that's going. Shout out to Chaos Divers. They've been absolutely outstanding all the time.
I put their link in the chat. You guys go in and make sure you subscribe to them. They are such great people.
Yeah. Just on their note, I watched their video. I'll put it up on the site where they're talking about coming back here. It's under another guy's name as far as the heading on their YouTube video from yesterday, I think. They still are talking about Harry's case. Lori, everybody can hear you. She ain't paying no attention. Must be letting the dog out in the other room. She ain't quite used to this yet. So, but yeah, they talk about when they're going to be back, and they answer a lot of questions and doing different things on there. So it's a good video. I'll put it up. Everybody go to their site, check it out. The other big thing, probably the bigger news at this particular point is one of Harry's angels kind of reached out and got a hold of an individual, if you're not familiar with him, by the name of Ken Maines. He's got a resume as long as my arm as far as his background in investigations. He's an ex-police officer, ex-Marine. He's got his own YouTube channel, which is I got to think of the name of it right now. Unfound No More or something like that. I can't think of it right now.
I'll drop the chat.
Yeah. He's done a lot of cases. Everything from, the BTK killer and all, just you name it. He's been involved with it. He's got he's had his own show and worked with a lot of people on the History Channel. He's working on a show on the History Channel right now. Reached out to him. Basically, she got a hold of him, put him in touch with me. I sent him a couple emails, and without him, basically, I just told him Harry's story. Him being an ex-Marine and everything else. He hasn't taken a non-paid or pro bono case in a long time, probably in years. As far as looking into a case and giving his opinions and his thoughts and those type of things. So the other day, all of a sudden, he come up on his channel there and said that he's going to do everything for Harry pro bono. So
that is amazing.
That's what Lori was making case file about, copying the case file, doing everything. I'm going to send him everything that I have on Harry, everything that I know. And he's going to take a look at everything and see what he comes up with, see what kind of answers and ideas he has, and those type of things. So that should be a huge deal. If you watch him, he's got on his channel, I know he does a thing every morning for a half hour or so where he talks about different cold cases, spotlights cold cases. I put the one up in the group the other day where he did talk about Harry and what he was doing for Harry, which, I can't thank him enough. But so, it's definitely going to get somebody with, like I say, I spent 21 years in law enforcement. I have nowhere near the experience that this individual has. I think it'll be a good eye opener. He's not shy to say what his opinions are. Call people out, call things out, and say what he's got to say, and give his recommendations to me, to law enforcement, and everybody else about, what he thinks and where things should go. So,
yeah, he's got almost 1 million subscribers.
Yeah, the video the other day, I just noticed it just amazed me because, I know that came out, and I think within an hour he had 15,000 views of that video, of that half-hour video. So,
and
but he does have if a person gets a chance, it's very good listening to, because he talks about a lot of older cases. He's even got a video I watched the other day on, the 10 steps to solving a cold case. You know, his opinions on, you know, what steps you need to go through, you know, to try to, you know, work on cold cases. He solved several of them over the years. I mean, that's kind of his specialty. So it'll be interesting. And like I say, you know, even, you know, no matter what comes out of it, it's still Harry's story out to, you know, I don't know what it is, 1 million viewers or whatever he's got.
Exactly.
You know, maybe that'll get to somebody that has the answers, or, you know, start making people nervous enough to know that, you know, it's not just me. It's not just, you know, local law enforcement. It's not, you know, the people in Albia. Now it's out to where, you know, some people that have some expertise and those type of things are going to give opinions, you know, and
Yeah.
I think it's going to be great.
Yeah. I put it up on my community post too. So anybody, they can go watch it from there. But when he talked about the brotherhood, oh my goodness, that just, yeah.
Yeah. He had me in tears because, like I said, I had no idea he was even, you know, that he was even really considering Harry's case. You know, originally all he ever said was, "Yeah, I'll at least spotlight it on my pay, you know, on my channel, just so that it gets out there." But then when he come out and you know, said that he was gonna, you know, make an exception to the rule because Harry was a Marine, that, you know, I ain't gonna say I had a few tears in my eyes at that time.
Yeah, I think anybody that watched it probably did. Yeah.
So I mean, that's, you know, that's a good thing. You know, I mean, like I say, it's you know, it's kind of back. I know a lot of people commented and seen my post this weekend on Sunday about things. You know, I'll be very honest. I'm gonna be real clear about things. I'm not gonna pull any punches anymore. I'm not playing anybody's games. I don't care if I offend you. I don't care if I piss somebody off. I don't care that trying to be so nice all the time. It's been 38 years, you know, and if for some reason, you know, I guess the way I look at it is, if your name, your family's name, your relative's name, whatever, is in Harry's story, I didn't put it there. It's there, and if I discuss it or somebody talks about it, you know, I guess I'm going to leave it up to the people that are offended or get upset. Talk to the people that you know, that's names in the story. You know, convince them to step up, talk to me, talk to somebody, you know, and clear their name out of everything. You know, because at this particular point in my book, everybody knows who I've talked about over the years. You know, there's nobody yet that I feel is cleared of even looking at. You know, everybody is still in the story and still got a lot of questions to answer.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, if their name's in there, you definitely didn't put them in there.
Right. You know, I mean, they'll see tonight, you know, I mean, just like tonight, going over a couple statements, you know, there's a couple different names that'll come up in this, you know, that I posted today. You know, the Steve Townsend that was interviewed. You know, there's some names that was brought up in that investigation by Larry Jones, you know, some names that come out during that interview. I didn't put them there, you know, I mean, so that's why, you know, there's some of those people that's been mentioned even in that particular interview that I have reached out to and talked to, you know, so.
Yeah. And I'm going to reiterate again that just because you bring up a name does not mean that you're accusing anyone of hurting Harry. You have questions, you need the answers. That's what this is true crime. This is what people do. They, you know, you always talk to the people that were closest. And if their name was there, you have to talk to that person. If they don't want to talk, that's wrong in my eyes.
That's called an investigation. You know,
exactly.
I mean, it's plain and simple. You know, you look at what you know, and you draw some conclusions from that, and then you start looking at things around what people have said and what they've done, and whether they've said something or not said something. So,
And you're not out to hurt the family members
no,
at
I
all.
have, anybody that's, that's in Harry's report of 38 years ago when he came up missing. I get it. They all have kids. They all have, some of them have grandkids like I have. I mean, I have no ill will, no, I don't want to see them harmed in any way. I don't want to see, any, you know, anything. It's just a matter of, it's conversation. It is what it is, and I can't help what maybe somebody was involved in 38 years ago.
Yeah. People
Well,
change.
we don't want to hurt anybody. We're just trying to put out the answers and see if we can figure out what happened. And if your name's there, it's public information. We didn't put it there, and we're not trying to hurt anybody. People have said it made people cry. Well, it's 38 years. You don't think we've cried too?
Yeah. The families, I mean, it's frustrating for me, and I'm not even a family. I can't imagine what you guys have been through. And that's what, I mean, you guys are good people. And for some people to be trying to, make you guys out to be these terrible people, it's crazy to me. It's just crazy. But, they want you irrelevant at this point, which is sad.
Well, and it's back to that same thing, and I've said it before. We all change, I'm not the same person I was at 18 years old when Harry came up missing.
No.
Back then when Harry came up missing, I'll be the first one to admit I had an attitude. I wanted to. At 18, I knew a way to solve things a lot different than what I would do now. You know what I'm saying? So that all changes, and all these people have changed. Different things have changed in their life. I mean, it's just like, dealing with anybody I dealt with in law enforcement. There's a lot of people that had addictions and everything else. And I always told them, there's a good person inside trying to get out. And then usually, when they have kids, get a little bit more mature, things change, and they're not that person no more. I mean, so it's all about, taking a look what happened in 1984. That's the whole thing. Something happened on June 30th, July 1st of 1984, and there's still a lot of questions and a lot of answers to be found. I think some of the answers are starting to really surface as of late. I'm glad that we got somebody like Mr. Maines that's going to actually sit down and listen to me and listen to, and look at a case file with, that he knows nothing about, don't know any of the people, don't know anything about any of it.
That's all we've wanted.
And he's going to try to draw a conclusion from there and say, here's who I'd be looking at. Here's what I'd be doing. Here's what needs to be done. These are my recommendations. And that's what he does for a living. He does it for police agencies that ask for his help. He does it for families like mine. He for people of unsolved murders, so it's going to be interesting.
I'm really happy. I'm excited for it. Just a lot of good things happening. And in the end, I'm going to say it again. The truth always comes out. Always.
Yep. It will. I mean, like I said, I have no doubt. Like I said, at some point, I guess, it's back to that thing of what do you believe? Because the truth might not come out here, but someday, if you believe in God, you're going to be standing in front of him when the truth's going to come out. So I guess it's, it's up to you, but I'd probably rather do it ahead of time, I guess.
Exactly. At Pointer Lover, he was 21 when he went missing. So do you guys, is there anything else you want to talk about? I just want to make sure I put Harry's Facebook group at the top.
Yeah.
You guys can go, request to be added, and Mark or Lori will add you at some point. And then Chaos Divers, make sure you go subscribe to them, and Kenneth Main, subscribe to him. I know a lot of people was already subscribed to Ken. So make sure you guys are doing that. And you want to get started on the case file, and then at the end,
whenever you're ready. Like I said, other than that, it is what it is at this point. Some things are going to be, moving forward in directions, and we'll see where it comes out.
Absolutely. And at the end, you guys don't leave, because we've got a surprise at the end that all of you guys will want to see.
Uh-oh.
So,
uh-oh.
You know what it is, I think.
Maybe.
Okay. Let's see. Do you want...
And I'll kind of, like I say, I know last time we talked about the interview with Mike Stalker. I put it up there in the page. I removed one page of it at somebody's request because there was a name in it that somebody didn't like their name being in it, which wasn't it wasn't a big deal, but I had a lot of responses on that. A lot of people reaching out to me, giving me their opinions and their thoughts, and also sharing a lot of information that about Mr. Stalker and some of the things they know of. So every time we do this, it just, it's kind of like opening Pandora's box again. You never know what you're going to find out and what somebody's going to tell you. So, the main thing to me is I want to thank everybody for reading them, for looking at them and for, giving me your ideas, because sometimes, like I said, I've looked at these things over and over and over the years, and sometimes I forget little parts of them, or somebody sees something different that I didn't see. I know tonight we're going to look at Steve Townsend's interview by Larry Jones. I think I know what caused this interview, but I don't know why it was ever done by Larry Jones. I'm not really sure. Lori can probably do a little better job of explaining how this statement all came about. Well, or her, I guess, dealings with Mr. Steve Townsend.
Because I was, you want me to go ahead then?
Yeah, I want to hear that. I want to hear what you have to
because
say.
I was working at Mike McGee's bar. I can't even remember what the name of it was called, but McGee's. Oh, okay. And I was working there helping him out because he was gone for a while. And so I was running the bar for him. And Steve Townsend came in there, and he, like all the other ones, they were very intoxicated. Oh, and he at that time, I'm not even sure if me and Mark were actually dating, or I know people didn't know that we were together. Mark would come in there once in a while, but Steve Townsend was sitting at the bar, and he looked right over at Mark, and he said, "What would you pay to have somebody disappear?" And I said, "What?" I said, what did you say? And he looked right at Mark and said, "What would you pay to have somebody disappear?" And I said, "I have no clue. I don't know what you're talking about." And then he went on, left the bar, and went on about his business. And I thought that was really strange for him to say that, and for him to actually looking right at Mark, like it was intended for Mark. So at that time, I worked at the law center, I'm pretty sure, and I had talked to them about it and said that he had made this comment. And so I didn't know who was going to talk to him or not, but Larry Jones apparently ended up talking to him about that comment that he made. And I, of course, told Mark that he had made this comment while looking at Mark, and we thought it was very weird.
Very. Well, I'm going to bring up the first. Can you guys, I'm going to bring that closer so and I can read it out if you want me to. Can you guys see it, or do you guys want me to read it out to you guys?
I can't see it very well.
I can't see it if you want to read it.
This officer, well, first it says officers interview summary report, case number 95-3067, February 2nd, 1996. So this was 12 years later, guys. Put that in the back of your mind. This officer interviewed Stephen Townsend per county attorney subpoena at the Monroe County Law Enforcement Center on this date, February 2nd, 96. The interview/interrogation was conducted in my upstairs office with the county attorney, Bill Owens, being present. I begin the interview at 11:15 by receiving Townsend's background information. I completed this segment of the process at 11:29. I then advised Townsend of his Miranda rights by card, which he waived, giving his verbal consent to the interview. I explained to Townsend that I was investigating the disappearance of Harry Milligan and had received information that he had been bragging of having some knowledge of Milligan's incident. I then proceeded into the issue questions, 11:31. I completed this segment at 11:44 and asked Townsend if he needed a break. Townsend declined a break, so I continued by listening to his statement. Townsend stated that he was a semi-driver for Certified Express out of Des Moines during the week and tended bar at the waterworks during the weekends. Townsend said he was hired by Daryl Stalker after Daryl took the bar over from his son, Mike. Took the bar over from his son, Mike. Townsend thought Daryl took the bar back after Mike and Frank Haluska failed to pay him back the $40,000 or $50,000 loan to get the bar started. Townsend was living with Daryl's daughter, Kathy, at this time out at Old Highway 34 east of Albia. Townsend said he didn't like Mike and didn't trust him. He only talked with Mike on rare occasion if he bumped into him uptown or out at Daryl's house when they visited. Townsend stated that he remembered someone in the bar told him something about Milligan's disappearance, but couldn't remember what it was since it had been so long ago. He recalled that the bar had a rough reputation, and there was rumor it was nicknamed the Cocaine Palace because there was so much drug use in there. After Mike left, he recalled throwing people out that would blatantly light up a joint in front of everyone. Townsend stated that he helped to get the building several years later and they discovered syringes. Okay. Hold on. Let me get the rest of it. Wait. Okay, hold on. It's weird that wasn't he sheriff?
At who? Larry?
Yeah.
No, he never was sheriff. He was still with the police
I
department.
mean, city. Yeah, he wasn't sheriff. So I find that,
like I said, that's back to the same thing with the Stalker interview. Why was Larry doing it?
Yeah, because
it was not a city case. Never was a city case.
Yeah. Okay.
I'll let you go ahead.
According to Townsend, Mike associated with a rough crowd like J.B. Davis, the Selby brothers, Rod Williamson, Chester DeBoer, Mike Maddie, and Jeff Adler. He stated that any of these persons were capable of being involved in a kidnapping or homicide. I recognize some of these persons had a history of drug use, abuse, and distribution. Townsend advised that he would think about it and get back to me by February 9th of 96. I observed that Townsend was very relaxed while talking with me, and his answers were consistent with a person who was telling the truth. I concluded the interview at 12:15 this date. Signed, Larry D. Jones, Detective Sergeant, Albia Police Department. So, does anybody have any questions on that?
Well, and it said that he did the interview per the county attorney.
Yeah, he was subpoenaed.
Yeah, and Larry Jones was the one doing the interview. I find that different, but I'm not sure why.
Yeah, because I thought sheriff dealt with out of town.
Well, I mean, just Harry's case alone. I mean, it was supposed to be handled by the sheriff's department.
Yeah.
Why is Larry Jones in the middle of it again? First it's with Stalker. Now it's with Townsend. I guess to me, I mean, you can look through the other questions down there that he asked. I mean, I've never seen anybody question so lame in my life. I mean, on both of these cases, or
Yeah.
both of these interviews.
You want me to bring up the other?
No, it's fine. I just,
Okay.
just like this case, I mean, just like this interview, there's, no real discussion of what information Larry was told, there's no, I guess at no point does he ever seem to be confrontational with either one of these individuals, as far as questioning them about what he knows, I mean, just like in this case, like Lori said, he was told, of this incident, but he never really asked, hey, do you remember saying this or saying that or anything? It's all just always so generic, that it's like he's really kind of avoiding the issue and just letting somebody come in and talk. Oh yeah, I don't know nothing, and here's what I know about the bar. He brings up the fact. I mean, even Townsend brings up the fact that, that at some point Stalker left. A lot of people don't realize. No, he left town 3 days after Harry came up missing. Him and a couple other individuals, and they left and they went to Arizona. Showed up out there unannounced at the guy's house. The guy put him to work. Pat Parker put him to work out there. Never says he never even questions why Stalker showed up there. And he ends up staying gone for almost 10 years before he comes back to Albia. To me, that's kind of a huge red flag, I guess, and to have a supposedly seasoned investigator like Larry Jones questioning you about it. Why has none of this stuff ever been brought up? You just basically blow it all off and don't really ever get to the point of anything. Just like in this interview here, him saying that, given a list of people that he thought were, I guess, bad seeds or tough guys or whatever. The first couple of them, I could say that, I knew them. I probably wouldn't have messed with them back in the day. But then you throw Jeff Adler's name in there at the end of it. It's like, I don't know anybody in my lifetime that would ever been scared of Jeff Adler to begin with. But, I just don't understand the whole questioning and answers, I mean, and then the other one, this is 1990. What was that? 96?
Yeah, 90.
And you got a county attorney sitting there.
Yeah, 96.
As a witness or whatever because of this county attorney subpoena. How come this interview was never recorded? Never, even audio recorded. I mean, I started in 95, 96 up there. And, I think every interview I ever done, you at least had an audio recording of the interview. There's, not one audio recording, or video recording of anything,
Well, there's a lot of people in the chat. They're saying that the comment at the bar doesn't sit right with them, and it's very odd and sketchy. So, and Pound Pointer Lover says somebody knows something. And then Squirrel at, I think that's the one, wanted to know if Larry Jones was assigned to Harry's case, but he was not.
No, he's never been assigned to it. It was never, as far as my knowledge, it has never been a Albia Police Department case.
Yeah.
It was strictly the Sheriff's Department, and why Larry Jones is doing interviews, for the Sheriff's Department, I don't know. I mean, it don't make a lot of sense to me.
Well, I wasn't even law enforcement.
I mean, we never done. I mean, I've worked both places. I worked in Albia with the Sheriff's Department there, and I worked in Wapello County or in Ottumwa with the Wapello County Sheriff's Department in the same building. And I don't ever recall once being asked by, Sheriff's Department personnel at either place, hey, can you interview this guy on what potentially could be a missing person / murder case. I mean, uh, it's another one of them things that don't make any sense. Which is a lot of this whole case don't make a little sense, and we'll get into even that farther down the road as we continue to lay some things out here.
Now, did any other law enforcement, like nowadays, did they question why a city police officer would be investigating Harry's case?
Not that I'm aware of, but then again, I'll be honest, I have very little communication with law enforcement, period.
Yeah.
But that's going to change. So at least I hope. Yeah, right now, since December of 2020, I really have no idea what they've done because nobody's really told me anything. I know they did a little bit of digging out at the old Davis farm.
But that was,
they had a dog indication out there at one time. I don't even know if that's ever been followed up on.
Yeah, they dug a long time ago.
Deputy Worth came out and assisted the first time Chaos Divers was here. He was available. He came out and assisted them, and we talked, and he was a lot of help that day. The second time that they showed up, nobody was here. No sheriff's department personnel whatsoever.
Wow.
And I don't know if I don't know, at this point, other than watching this video, they probably have no idea that they're coming back in March, so.
Isn't there usually always some law enforcement when Chaos Divers?
Most places they go, mean, there's sometimes it's family and sometimes, law enforcement's there, and especially, if they find something, there's always law enforcement involved. But I mean, there's a lot of times where law enforcement's asked them, to come search someplace, I mean, we kind of started at that point here back in December of 2020. I had Team Waters I'd already contacted, which is who trained Chaos Divers, and Jacob was willing to come here, and all they had to do was be invited by law enforcement. And that never happened. That's how Chaos Divers ended up here.
Wow.
So, and like I say, I'm not, I'm not bad mouthing anybody at this point or anything else. I'm just stating the facts, and I'm tired of, not stating the facts, I guess, a lot of times, so I can only say what I know. And that's kind of where things stand at the point right now. I don't know what's going on. I have no idea.
Well, on this side, we know what's going on.
Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, that's why I'm glad to have other people involved, other people that got my back, as far as a lot, there's a lot of you.
Yes.
Everybody on these channels and everything else, it's all about getting Harry's story out there and hoping that it, hits home with somebody and we find an answer at some point.
Yeah. I do believe that I've said, oh, go ahead, Lori.
I'm sorry. I know Chaos Divers, when they were here, they said that if they are searching and they do locate something or they suspect something, they would stop what they're doing and get law enforcement there. Law enforcement would have to be there.
Yeah.
So even if they aren't there when they are doing some of their searches, they said if they locate anything, that they're contacted.
Yes.
And that's, when they was here, we did locate a stolen vehicle out of Wapello County in the river down near Tumwa.
And a pontoon.
As soon as they located the vehicle and dove on it and took the plate off the vehicle, that was the first thing we did. First thing was, hey, call law enforcement, let them know we found a vehicle. Here's the plate number. What do they want us to do with it? And of course it was stolen, so we retrieved it out of the water for insurance purposes, I'm sure, and notified an owner that, hey, your vehicle has been missing since 2017, sitting upside down in the river down here. So yeah, I mean, when it comes to them, there's always going to be, as soon as something's found or they think they got something found, law enforcement's going to get notified.
Yeah. I'm going to put a picture of what Harry's car looked like. It looked just like this. It was a big old boat. It was a beast.
Yep. 1977 Grand Prix, size of a house. I mean, you could live in the trunk of it. I mean,
Yeah.
seriously, it was. Yeah, I mean, you could probably make an apartment out of it.
And there's Harry right there.
No.
Just, I don't know.
You know, and it's back to the Steve Townsend thing. You know, I mean, this interview happened in '96. His name's come up a lot over the years. I mean, several people have talked about him. He's now passed away, I think last year maybe. But you know, a lot of people talked about him, and his name's come up in it multiple times. You know, but other than that interview, I don't know. You know, whether he was ever talked to again or anything else.
Yeah.
I just think it's pretty strange, you know, that he was make a comment like he made to Lori and
That's weird.
have the association with the bar with Mike Stalker and Daryl Stalker and that, you know, that family. You know, I don't know. It's just kind of a strange comment, I guess.
Yep. Brandy, you're right. They did make those big cars out of steel. They were good derby cars. I derbied them.
That one would have made a good one.
Oh, yeah. Does anybody else have any other questions regarding Steve Townsend's? Just a lot of people saying
Sean's Princess. Yeah, Steve Townsend, the guy that was interviewed there, he since has passed away, I think last year. So, Squirrelette, I see a thing there about polygraphs. I'll make it well known right now. Nobody has ever volunteered that I know of to take a polygraph test. And at this point, I don't know what they cost, but we have a fund out there, Harry's fund that was set up to be used for things like that. You know, I have no idea what it would cost, but I'd be sure consider, or I would, you know, pay for what we could out of it for anybody who wants to take a polygraph test.
Yes. I'm trying to find Harry's PayPal, and I was going to put it in there just in case anybody wants to donate $1 or whatever, every little bit. What is it up to now, Mark?
It's about 27,000, I think 300 and something, somewhere around
That's
that.
amazing. That is amazing.
I know, you know, I mean, you know, I know I'm spending just a little bit of it here to get a couple files, you know, reprinted and stuff to send out to Mr. Maines. But yeah, it's right around 27,000, you know, just over $27,000, and that's huge. I mean, you know, I can't thank everybody enough for everybody that's donated a penny to it or bought one of, you know, Lori's blankets or bid on something at an auction or just, you know, donated to one of the, we got the little containers we put out at different businesses and that type of stuff. So, you know, it is all highly appreciated, you know, and I can't thank people enough for that. I'll be honest, and you can ask Allison, I hate asking for money. I mean, I
that's why I do it. We there's several of us that do it for them. They hate asking for money because people say stupid stuff. But since I've been around Mark and Lori, every dollar has been accounted for, and that is all going towards the reward and anything else. Thank God, you know that you've guys got
somebody. If somebody would come to me right now and say, I know where Harry's at and I know what happened, and they don't even have to tell me what happened. If they just come and said, hey, I know where Harry's at and let's go to law enforcement and I can tell them what I know, and it leads to finding Harry, I will write you a check for every penny in that thing right now and be done with it. I mean, you know, that's what it's set up for. That and just like say odd and end things just like now, you know, Mr. Maines didn't want an electronic copy. He likes things in paper so that he can see them and see what it's all about. You know, I mean, sort through it and organize it or whatever he does. I don't know. But he wanted a hard copy of it. So, you know, we're having a couple hard copies made right now. Hopefully be done tomorrow so I can get them sent that way and go from there.
Yeah. Your PayPal is just under Mark Milligan, right?
No, the PayPal for Harry's is the A6814, 83@yahoo.com.
Yeah, I see they usually have a link. Okay, so what is it again, Mark? I'm going to put it in the chat.
It's A681483 at
At Yahoo.
yahoo.com.
Okay. So
And everybody always looks at me like, where in the hell did you come up with that email? Well, it does have a meaning. It's actually my old badge number when I was in Albia, Lori's old badge number, and her old badge number when I was in Albia. So that's how we come up with it.
yeah, it didn't like go to, I don't know. That is the GoFundMe. Pointer Lover wants to donate.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank
Pointer
you.
Lover, you are awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah, we don't have a GoFundMe because GoFundMe takes so much money out of them. I mean,
yeah, this is PayPal.
Yeah, so that's PayPal. There is a Venmo. I think it's under Bring Harry Home is the Venmo.
Yep, it is. Bring Harry Home.
Yeah. So I mean, either one of those two goes directly, right to the account at the bank. Anybody else, you can go to First Iowa State Bank in Albia and donate.
Yep.
That way you can get a receipt, do whatever. Like I said, it all helps. I appreciate the heck out of it.
Pointer Lover.
I hate to ask.
Yeah. If you want to, Pointer Lover, she sees the PayPal. She's going to donate.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Pointer Lover. You have no idea how much we appreciate that.
So we got a lot of things going on, and like I say, the next step of probably statements and stuff that we look at in here is I'm kind of confused on some things of how things went back in 1984, or I don't even know if it was 84 exactly. I'd have to look at the dates again on everything, but it's more along the lines of, at the time that Harry came up missing, Denny Carr was the sheriff here. And then later on, not too long, I don't know exactly what year, 1984. Not long after that, he left office, took a job in Des Moines, continued a private investigating business, stayed very good friends with my mom and dad, was very close to my mom and dad, was always very concerned with Harry's case and Tim Ernie's case. It is an unsolved murder in Albia. So he stayed on top of them and tried to always do what he could do from the private investigator standpoint. And at one point he requested, just like I have or like anybody can, basically did a FOIA request or Freedom of Information request to the sheriff's department. I don't know. I don't remember exactly when it was, but it was a few years after Harry had come up missing. The county attorney at the time, basically in the correspondence I see in the file, said, yeah, that's a legal request for you to have that information. And I think what Denny wanted is he wanted to, he'd done all the work on everything. So he wanted the file so that he could, go back through it or compare some of the statements that he had taken 10 years later, 12 years later, with the case to what was originally said. And the county attorney, basically said it was a legal request, but then he turned around and denied him to have it. So, I mean, I guess I got a lot of questions there, and I just want everybody to kind of see how some of that played out too. I just don't understand why, you can say something is a legal request for information and then deny the person to have it. And the only excuse given in writing was, well, we understand that your purposes for it, Denny, are legitimate, and you would only be using it for a good purpose. But if we give it to you, then somebody else could get it and use it for another purpose, which didn't make any sense, because I think if Denny, I love the guy to death. I thought the world of him. I think if he would have got that information back when he requested it, he might have seen some of the same things that I see now, of inconsistent statements, things that were, just don't add up, and maybe things would have went a different direction. But for some reason he was denied that information. So I think it's made things even harder and longer. Am I the only one here?
No, I had it on mute. I said,
Oh.
so can they deny someone that? I don't think they can they?
What's that?
Now? Can they deny an FOI?
No. If it's public information, it's public information.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Like in Harry's case, it's a missing persons case. It was never given a criminal distinction. There was at that time, no suspicion of foul play, no nothing. Even though his missing person entry says involuntary, I don't understand. Like I said, it was you can't be denied that. Now if it's a criminal investigation and they're actively investigating it, they can hide behind that and say, it's an open investigation and we don't want the public to have that information. But it's no different than just like everybody paying attention to the Idaho murders and stuff going on right now, search warrants that are coming out, receipts for property and different things.
Yes.
That's all public information. They cannot stop the public from getting that information.
Yeah. I was just going to show the chat. Some of them are new in here. This is some of the signs. How big are these signs that are being put out?
We've got, 4 of them out right now that are 4x8.
Yeah, I would love to be able to put them in every city in the state of Iowa, just so because there's still people that don't know.
I'm glad you brought that up because the sign guy, I think I might have misunderstood him the other day. That's another good thing that we got hopefully going on. Maybe going to work out, maybe not. There's a new huge electronic billboard right at the intersection of 34 and 5 in Albia.
Yeah, that's the same one that we have on our for the
that
store.
advertises for you guys for Top Notch and everything else. When talking to them, trying to get Harry's picture put up there, and his missing information and that type of thing, just to keep everybody that drives through Albia seeing that there's a missing person from Albia, and if you know anything or make a phone call, talk to somebody.
So another friend of mine that has a business in Centerville, she messaged me today wanting to know the price of the electronic. People are seeing it everywhere.
I know. Yeah. Oh yeah. I know when I talked to a guy last week, it was on Wednesday and I thought he said he was going to call me back Thursday, but now I think the more I think about it, he told me next Thursday because when I talked to him, he was in Kentucky.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm saying, I don't know how he was going to get home to his office, to where the general manager and the corporate people are at all within a day and call me back. So
yeah, I'm
hoping I'm going to reach out to him tomorrow and try to clarify that. But they sounded real positive about, putting that up and at least having it flash up there every so often or whatever. I think it's a great thing and it'd be a huge, on my part, a huge shout out for his company. And I think it's a good start for a voice for all missing people,
Yes. Squirrelette has a question. Was Officer Jones ever asked to give a statement since witnesses stated he was seen talking to Harry that night? No, Squirrelette.
He was never, as far as I know at this point, he has never been interviewed about it. The information about him seeing Harry that night came out. He made some statements to me about seeing Harry on the square. He even said around 2:30-ish, he saw Harry being dropped off in his car by these guys at one point. So you're back to that same thing is why is, like you say, it's very confusing because he shouldn't be anybody investigating the case. Maybe he ought to be the one that's being questioned about. Giving an official statement of what did you see or didn't you see that night? What was your conversation about?
didn't he say that he didn't remember the traffic stop, but if he did stop him, it was purely professional?
Right.
That's what he said.
Yeah, he didn't remember.
But he also went on to state about seeing Harry on the square, that he maybe was with Bill
Right.
Kerr. You know, I mean, there was several different things that he did say. But yeah, he never would, you know, say he stopped Harry that night. But, you know, being an officer of 21 years, if somebody ever asked me about stopping him or anything like that, I'd be like, yeah, I stopped him. Or no, I didn't stop him. But I sure as hell would never say, well, if I did, it was completely professional. I mean, that's just
Exactly.
a very odd statement, I think, for any officer. I mean, I'd like to pull, you know, 1,000 police officers, and would they ever make that comment? Because I know me, you know, yeah, some people didn't like me because I went and did my job. But every time I stopped somebody, every time I dealt with somebody, it was professional. So I don't have to ever preface it by saying, oh, this one was completely professional. You know,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
That is an odd comment to make in a missing person.
Like, how's that name?
Shalama. I love her name, Shalama.
Yeah, I like that. I just don't know if I could say it.
Well, I didn't say it at first either. I was, yeah, she understands.
Yeah, someone is hiding something. Yeah, I think there's a whole lot of people hiding something, you know, and I mean, you know, I'll be very honest and open front. Like I said, I'm not pulling any punches anymore. I think it starts from the top down. I think it starts from law enforcement all the way through everybody that's been mentioned in this case. There's people hiding stuff.
Well, we all know, every one of us that's in the chat, you know, we're into the true crime. We know when something's wrong. You know, we're 99.9% right too. Something's wrong in this case. I mean,
right.
And I'm not talking law enforcement now.
No, not at all.
Back then, yes.
Yeah. Back then, yeah, you know, like I said, I'm not talking now, you know, and if somebody takes it different than that, then so be it. But, you know, it definitely, something stinks, you know, from back in 1984. Something ain't right, you know. I mean, you got one officer that's doing doing his own little investigation. Apparently, you know, his ex-wife even told me that he'd done his own investigation of Harry. Where's that at? You know, you got that. You know, I mean, you got county attorneys that are not, you know, giving information when they legally should have. It's like, well, what all are we hiding in Monroe County? You know, in 1984.
Yeah. Without Borders says, I'm kind of speechless. Unbelievable. Yeah. They're probably not very happy that Ken Maines is involved either.
You know, I don't care. I mean, I hate to say it, but I don't. You know, I want the guy is a professional. He knows what he's doing. He knows what he's talking about. He has more experience than, I guarantee you, than anybody that I know of that I think I've ever dealt with. And I've worked with some people that's had a lot of years in law enforcement and a lot of experience, you know, but nothing like this guy has, you know.
Yeah,
so
that's what Little Bit says. She says, I'm glad he's involved. Yeah. But I'm sure people are scared knowing he's going to be, they're worried. And that's okay. I guess they need, because that man does not pull any punches whatsoever. He is straight and to the point. And I would be scared if he was coming to talk to me. I didn't even do anything.
Yeah. I don't think I'd want to sit in an interview room with him. I know that. But,
all I know is he's got a good heart. He's a very caring person, and he is out to help the families, just like Chaos Divers.
Right.
That is all they are to, you know, they want to help. They've dedicated their lives to helping solve cold cases and missing persons. So this is just amazing that this is all coming together. And Mark, I know my little channel, it don't do a whole lot, but it does get Harry's word out. But I promise you, it's going to someday, we're going to have hundreds of thousands of subscribers, because Mark and me are actually going to have a couple other family members on in the near future to advocate for them. And that is what we are personally dedicating this channel to Harry Milligan and victims families by giving them a platform and a voice,
That's
because
it.
they will
Without
never
borders.
be forgotten. We will never allow them to be ever forgotten.
Yep, exactly, and that's what needs to happen. I mean, I've even got a guy right now that he's out of Wisconsin. He's got a missing brother out of Wisconsin that's been reaching out to me, asking me different questions. Just you know, we all have different questions. Everybody that's got a missing person in their family has a lot of different questions, a lot of different things. But in my case, and I'm not patting myself on the back or anything like that, but I have law enforcement experience. When, like we were talking earlier, when it comes down to freedom of information, what you can get, what you can't get, those type of things. That's what these people, I think a lot of these families don't understand that they take what they're told from law enforcement for face value and don't know any different, and they have to live with it. And some of I mean, Lori's heard it. Marilyn McAllister. I don't know how the woman's ever done it, because I know a story that she told me about what a police officer said to her about her son that was missing, and I was just shocked. One, being a former police officer, but the only response I could come back with her was, "I don't know how you didn't do it, but I would have punched that officer in his mouth," because he treated her son like he didn't matter at all, and why should he matter to her, and it's like, it's just sickening. And I think that's what, like you say, with this channel and what we're doing here, it's something we've talked about for quite a while. I'm going to do everything I can to keep pushing and finding Harry, but at the same time, I think there's a lot of other things that we can do, to one, get more people into your channel, and have a purpose at the same time of giving a voice to missing people and missing families.
Exactly.
There's a lot of them out there that nobody's looking for.
Yeah. And it's so sad. I see a lot of the drama that happens on YouTube, and it's so rewarding knowing that we're doing something that's helping others. And the people in the chat, they are with us. They're not here. They're not over in the drama section right now. They're here. They're here for you and Lori and Harry. And
Right.
I know I tell them all the time how much I appreciate them, but I don't think they truly understand how much I appreciate them.
And I appreciate them.
Yes,
I mean,
you do.
everybody out there, get people over here to, to Allison's channel to listen to what I got to say, because I want the word out to everything. But, invite them to the Facebook group. The more people that hear the story, the better chance of finding answers. And I think that's true with every single missing person out there. I mean, there's an answer. These people did not just fall off the face of the earth. There's an answer to every one of them.
And I've got Harry's Facebook page, or his Facebook page at the top there. So anybody that hasn't, make sure you go and request to be on it. And Mark or Lori or one of the administrators will get you guys added.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So, and Without Borders had a good question, if I can find it. Has law enforcement ever had someone new look at the case?
I guess that's what you call new. In December of 2020, when I had a meeting with the sheriff, Deputy Worth was assigned the case. We had, of course, I've known Joe his whole life, and I got trained him actually when we was in Albia. He was a neighbor, lived across the road from me. He's the investigator on the case right now. With all the conversation that we had, he basically wanted to look at everything from new, to not have my input, not have anybody's input, to look at it from new and go from there. And that's pretty much where it's been for the last 2 years. I've had very little to no input. I have provided them with some information. At the last meeting that we were at, Deputy Worth, I had pushed an individual, Denny Hollenrink, to sit down and talk to me for a while. And I also, wanted to talk to Steve Rockwell, Jeff Adler, Doug Matty, sit down and talk with them and just have conversation about, this whole thing. An interview was, I guess an interview, I don't know if it was even called, I don't know what you call it, with the way it turned out. But there was a meeting arranged with myself, Deputy Worth, Lori, Steve Rockwell was there, Stacy Gibbler was there. It was basically a yelling match at me for all the things that I've done wrong and how I've treated people is basically what it was about for the most part on Mr. Hollenrink's part. Me and Mr. Rockwell did have some questions. I didn't know he was going to be there initially, so I had a few questions and got a chance to ask him some questions about some things. Back to, Deputy Worth wanting to look at things from scratch and do all that stuff. That's kind of where it's been left. I had, like I said, I have sent him some information in regards to some anonymous letters that I was sent. Somebody telling me about a confession that was made by Mike Stalker. What else? Well, there was 3 different things I know that day. You remember what the other one was, Lori?
No, I know the letters, the confession, and what was the other thing?
There was something else. There was 3 different things, all of which I'd provided that information to the sheriff. That came up toward the end of our conversation that day, and I was made aware that Deputy Worth didn't have any idea what I was talking about.
That's sad. That's sad.
So I don't know where it's at. I don't know. Like I said, hopefully that's something that we can get resolved and work on. But I intentionally stepped away and said, okay, you don't want my input. You don't want, any information that I found out from anybody, other than what I thought you needed to have. And I did send to you. So I don't know where it's at, other than that, no, it's never been put to an outside agency. The DCI, was asked to assist. I don't know how much assistance they've been or anything. I know one of the DCI agents involved has talked to somebody that talks to me, and hasn't followed through on one thing that I think is very important. So I don't know, and I'm not kicking the DCI. I mean, all you got to do is turn on the TV in Iowa anymore, and you'll see that they're shorthanded to begin with, and now we got homicides in Des Moines about every other day, it seems like. So,
oh, it's awful.
I mean, 2 gang members or two kids just got killed yesterday in Des Moines at a youth center that's supposed to be for troubled kids, and some other kid went in and shot the place up and killed 2 of them. So I get it with like the DCI, they're undermanned. The thing I don't get though is the state of Iowa and Governor Reynolds and them. I know there's been some push for a cold case unit. They had one back in 2011
from a grant. Yep.
Yeah, from a grant. It lasted for maybe a year or so and then faded away. We're one of 8 states, I think, in the country that does not have a cold case unit. So
email the state senators, guys.
Yeah.
That would help so much. If you can't donate financially, just pray and email the Iowa State Senator's office, and let's get a cold case in Iowa.
Ask them why. Ask them why there's 300. There's 300 plus missing people in Iowa. It's right around 300. I think it's last I checked, it was over, but it kind of goes back and forth once in a while. But there's over 300 missing people in Iowa, and nobody looking for them.
Yeah.
Local law enforcement that also don't have the manpower. So.
I wanted to tell Pointer Lover, I am so sorry about your cousin. Mark, she knows how you feel. Her cousin is still missing since 2016. An arrest was made in early 2018. Still no trial, and we cannot find her. Every channel helps, no matter the size.
What do you mean you can't find her?
That the guy that they arrested isn't telling them where she is.
Oh, okay. I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Wow.
So yeah, how old was your cousin, Pointer Lover? Yeah, I honestly could not ever imagine somebody in my family go missing. That's why when Mark and Lori came to me into the store years ago, I couldn't stop thinking about it. I don't know how anybody can't stop thinking about it, because I live this, I breathe this. I can't imagine what Mark and Lori's done. I mean, and it's not just me. They have other supporters that are just like me. We talk on the phone
Is
every
Squirrelette
day.
from Iowa?
I don't know who Squirrelette is.
Are you referring to Iowa Squirrelette? I mean, I
Our
know we
new,
had a new state attorney, and I hope I think I remember hearing something about that. But yeah, that would be. I'd love to talk to her at some point. I'd tell her
well,
what I think about why we need it, and why it's not good to put that burden on local law enforcement.
yeah, she's from Iowa, Mark.
Okay, yep, okay, I see that now.
Pointer
Yep.
Lover's cousin was 26 years old, just a few years older than Harry. Sad.
Wow, that is just that's crazy. I'd like to know more about that. Where was it at? I mean,
Yeah, Mark is now an advocate for missing people. So heck, we could talk
and
about your
once I
cousin.
find Harry and bring him home, then I'm going to really be an advocate because I'll have more time to worry. Just focus on that because
Yep,
that's what I would like. I mean, if if anything comes out of all this with Harry, is that missing people need to have a voice, and somehow, some way, and hopefully through this channel, we can start bringing missing people together, or missing families together to be a voice for all of them. I mean, that's why
absolutely.
when I put up the signs down at on the way to Centerville, Iowa, you know, Ty down there that's missing, young kid that's missing from Centerville.
Yeah,
I came up with the idea to instead of just trying to get Harry's story out, we put a big 4x8 sign in Jerry Castor's yard right on the highway. And on one side of it towards Centerville has Ty's picture and his information. And on the other side has Harry's information,
yeah.
because he needs to be found just as bad as Harry does before
He
it's
was young.
38 years, 38 years later.
Yeah. And we're going to have Ty's family on the channel. And
Yeah.
Pointer Lover, I would love to have you on and to talk about your cousin. She gave an ex-coworker a ride home and she disappeared. Kind of sounds like Ty's story.
Yeah, that's about kind of the same, along
Yep.
the same lines as Ty's.
Yeah. Yep.
A coworker was supposedly giving him a ride home, and
Yep.
that
He
was
was
the last.
scared. He
Yeah.
messaged his sister. He was scared. The guy was acting weird and never to be heard of again. It's
Yeah.
sad. It really is. But we're going to, if we can't find him, we're definitely going to put his story out there because people don't talk about Ty either,
Somebody knows the answer to that. There's no doubt.
Yeah.
I mean, I think there's information that in looking for Harry that I've come across that is in relation to Ty.
Absolutely.
But like I said, it's back to having that voice and being able to get it to the right hands of somebody that's going to do something with it,
Yeah. Pointer Lover, Brandy said she would love to have you on panel and talk about your cousin too. I think the more we talk about these missing people, we're helping the family in a way that nobody can, Oh, there was something else I wanted to talk about, which I'm really excited about for Mark.
Okay.
February 1st, is it? February 1st? The radio station.
Oh, yes. Yep. February. Well, no. January 31st.
Or January 31st.
January 31st, 7:30 in the morning. I'll be on doing an interview on the radio station here, 104.3. I don't know what all. It's several different stations, but mainly 104.3 with on the morning show down there. I'm gonna at 7:30 in the morning. I'll be doing an interview down there and telling Harry's story through another way, I guess, to get it out to the world. So
you had never done a radio
station.
Nope,
I've never done a radio, done a lot of podcasts and different things like that, a lot of news interviews and different things. So I think this will be another good way to keep pushing it out there and keep letting people know that, there's one thing that's not going to happen. There's only one thing I can guarantee you about Harry's story, and that's I'm not going away.
That's right.
I'm going to continue to do what I'm doing and keep pushing and keep pushing farther and farther until somebody does something.
Yeah, that's going to be great. And I will make sure I get the link and I will play it on my channel sometime because it's getting his story out there even more.
And that's one thing, like I say, with the Facebook group. I know a lot of people watch, these YouTube videos through our Facebook group. If you guys want to comment or do it, you can always comment in the group. You can always reach out to me, but go to Allison's channel, True Crime Analyst on YouTube, and subscribe to it. And then you know, you can comment right along with some of the people on here, or if you have other questions, and or if you want to come up and talk to me about something or whatever.
Yeah. Does anybody want to come up tonight?
We'll be more than happy. I'll be more than happy. I'll talk to anybody. I'll explain my side of my story, and we can agree to disagree, or we can try to figure out ways to find other answers.
Yeah. I wished Larry Jones would come on and talk.
I'd be more than happy to talk to him. He blocked me on Facebook.
Well, yeah, I think, if it was me and people were questioning me, I would definitely be begging for a lie detectors test.
Yeah.
I would do whatever I can to, clear my name.
Yep.
That's
Anything to add, Lori?
No, that's
I've
true.
never
I'm
seen
just
you be so
listening.
quiet.
So, Lori, when did you start as a dispatcher for the law center?
I started in 1994, I believe it was, in Albia, and
So
I was
Harry
in.
had already been missing 10 years. When
Yes, he was already missing when I started in law enforcement. I was in Albia for over 10 years, and then I worked in Mahaska County at the 911 center there for 19 years. So I did it for a little over 29 years.
Boy, here lately, I've been listening on YouTube 911 calls. Oh my gosh, your job had to have been very hard and stressful.
There was times when it really was. When I started there, they said a dispatcher usually lasts at about 5 years. The shifts, the calls, you work the holidays, if you had families, it was a hard job because, the shifts that you have, it's open 24 hours a day. And then when I left there, they said a dispatcher now will last about 2 years. So I did it for 29 years. So I did my share.
My cousin.
She won't watch them shows now. We started watching like one of them, the 911 calls, and pretty soon she's like, "Nope, I've had enough."
Yeah, my cousin, her and her husband were both law enforcement years ago, and they were both working the night shift and ended up being in a shootout. And thank God nobody got hurt on their side, but she was pregnant with twins.
Oh, wow.
And she quit law enforcement and she went to dispatching, and she worked there for years and years. And she actually 4 or 5 years ago, she quit law enforcement to go work for the Minnesota Vikings.
Hey, there you
awesome.
Go. That'd be the best job in the world then.
Yeah. She
That's
does
what I need,
HR
security
there.
job.
Yeah, she doesn't do security, but she does HR. But she was in Minnesota, the crime rate was terrible. And her ex-husband ended up not getting killed in law enforcement. He was riding a bike at night and somebody hit him.
Mm.
So, but
it takes some crazy calls, that's for sure.
Oh, some of those I listen to. It's like some of them, they are just amazing at keeping the people calm and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And,
well, was it 4.5 years that you were the night dispatcher and I was the night officer?
Yeah, we worked together for about a little over 4 years on the same shift together.
Oh, wow. And you
that
guys
was different.
You guys are working together on doing other things.
Yeah.
Everybody thinks Lori's nice until you make her a little upset, like I might have once. I remember a specific call where I heard a couple officers get dispatched out to the construction site out at the hospital, and I thought, okay, cool, I don't have to go. And then next thing I know, she told them to 1022, so they didn't have to go, and she sent me out there, and I'm like, okay, that's weird. And then I figured out, well, we might have been in an argument on the way to work, and the call out to the construction site out there was a skunk inside the building out there that I had to get out of there. So I know how it worked to. I learned not to argue with her before work.
Now law enforcement has it easy because Jim is animal control.
Yeah, there you
Yeah.
go. We didn't have no
All that.
animal control then.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
He learned.
Yeah. So
Don't argue
other
with
than
her.
that, I think I'm good. Unless you said you had something else you wanted to share.
Oh,
At
I
the
was
end.
just talking about the radio station.
Oh yeah, that's it. Yep. Okay.
I was wanting to see if the chat had any other questions on this one, and we'll pick up in 2 weeks. You want to do it in 2
Yep.
weeks? Or,
We'll
yep, 2 weeks. We're going to
Just
do
do
it.
2 weeks on Tuesday, and that way we don't. That way I got time to catch up on everything, especially with everything I got going on right now. It kind of gives me a chance to breathe and do some things that I need to do. I got a lot of stuff I got to get done right at the moment in regards to this. So
Well, you guys, tell me that PayPal again, Mark.
it's A681483.
Okay, I got it.
Yeah,
This
okay.
is Harry's PayPal. Oh
And the
yeah,
other-
there is something I want to do. I got to show you guys. We're going to bring up Lori. You know, she's always doing something to help Harry's case, and she knits these amazing blankets. And this one is the newest one. Let me bring it up closer a little bit. It's red and white. And I think the current, if you guys go to the channel and scroll down, you will see the blanket, and she's got it for an auction. And I think the last bid that I knew of was 77, right, Lori?
Yes.
Yeah.
We're just trying to, I knit the blankets and hope that people like them. They're warm, they're comfortable, and we put them on auction to see if we can make more money for the Harry Reward Fund. So go ahead and take a look at it, or I can do about any color. If somebody would like a specific color, I've done different, I've done Iowa State, I've done Vikings. So if anybody would want a blanket made and make a donation to the Harry Fund, I will gladly make a blanket of any color that they want. I've made baby blankets, and I've made over 300 blankets.
Scarves.
So I do scarves. I do headbands, the winter headbands that are very warm. We've got scarves and headbands in Allison's store at Top Notch, and we're just trying to see if we can help the Harry Fund and the reward money.
Yes, and you guys, I personally have one, and I don't sleep with anything but that blanket. And anybody I know that got one, they love it. I know Broken Justice got one. Mark Klein got one. They're just awesome blankets. But anyway, it's up for auction. You can go to Harry's Facebook page, scroll down a little bit, and the bid was at 77. So I hope you guys can go check that out. And
thank you.
Yes. Thank you for doing them. I love them. They're just the best.
No problem.
And it always makes you feel good because you feel like you're helping.
Yeah, it's kind of my way to contribute to. I hope someday the reward money, the fund is to where someone looks at it and says, "I'm gonna tell what I know because the money's worth it." And so we're just hoping to increase it. And
yeah, money talks. That's
yeah.
true.
So anything I can do to help, I'm just trying to help and try to get the amount up there to where somebody would say, I'm gonna tell you where he's at.
Yeah. Well, Lori, I know that I don't think a lot of marriages could survive what you guys have survived in 30 some years. But what I see is it's brought you and Mark very close. And
it has. It's taught us a lot of things.
Yeah.
Life's short.
Yeah.
Life is very short. But what I do know is you guys working together, you make a great team. And
well, thank you.
I know
so do you and Jim.
I got a pretty good team around me right now. So
yeah.
I've always said if I come up missing, I want Mark and Lori on my case.
Well, you know we would be.
Yep.
Oh, shoot.
So
Well,
thank you
anyway,
again, Allison.
yes, thank you guys. And in a couple weeks, we're going to go more into the case file and talk about
And I'll try to keep
everything.
putting some stuff up so everybody can kind of be ahead of the game, know what we're going to be talking about, that type of thing. And I'll
Yes.
keep everybody up to speed on Chaos Divers coming back and what, how things go with Ken and we'll go from there.
Yes.
There'll be a lot happening here just shortly.
Yes, there is. And we'll keep everybody updated. And if anybody has any questions for Mark, you can put them in the comment section or after the video is over with, or you can go straight to Harry's Facebook page and message Mark or Lori or comment right there on the page itself.
Reach out, share it, invite people to the group, invite people to Allison's YouTube channel and,
I'm really impressed. My channel is growing pretty quickly right now.
That's good.
It is. I'm excited. So
yeah, that's good.
All right. Well, you guys have a good night. I appreciate you guys coming on.
Well, thank you so much to Allison for letting me join you guys.
Everybody. Thanks, Allison.
Yes. Thank you guys, everyone in chat. I promise you, I'm not going to fire you, Gladys. Appreciate you guys in chat. And
see you in 2 weeks.
yes.
Yep. Have a good night.
Yep. Thank you guys. Bye.
Thanks.